Hey guys, Brian here. We're back here with the Frostbite JL, and today we're going to be installing a roof rack up on my hardtop here. Give us a little extra space for when we go camping, and then when we're off-roading we can put some jerry cans, whatnot up there. So let's go ahead and take a look. Alright, so let's go ahead and show you what we got. We ended up going with the Smittybilt Defender roof rack. It's a solid one-piece rack, and it attaches to our rain gutters up here. So it'll be nice, I'll be able to take it on and off whenever I'm going camping, or if I'm going to go into a parking garage or whatnot, I can just leave it at home. So let's look at the model we got. We got the 45-45-4 JL, and this is going to be the JL specific one. They do have a bunch of universal ones that are multiple pieces. This is all solid one piece, and it should work out pretty good for us. The thing I like about this one, besides the price, it's got a lot of accessories. You can put high lift jacks, shovels, axe mounts, that kind of thing on it. And then it's also pretty short. It's 4.5 feet long by 4.5 feet wide, so I should still be able to take my T-tops off. So looking forward to getting into that. Why don't we go ahead and open it up and we'll see how this installs. There she is. Packaged fairly decently. So this, like I was saying, this is all one piece. So it's going to ship in this big box, and then we'll have our separate hardware box. So let's go ahead, we'll get it pulled out, and we'll take a look at what we got here. Alright, so now that we got this out of the box, it looks pretty nice. So you got the logo here, Smittybilt Defender rack. And then you also have all these light tabs, 4 in the front here and then 2 in the back. You can put auxiliary lighting on. I might add a bar in the back for backing up, but it does have a really nice texture to it. And then you'll see all our mounting locations for the brackets. So we'll go ahead and we'll get the brackets out, hook that up, and it should be a pretty quick install. We'll throw that up on the Jeep for you. Alright, so now that we got all our hardware out, looks like we have all the pieces. We do have the couple hardware bags, and then we're going to have the clamps and then the little brackets that will attach it to the rack itself. So it looks like these are pretty nice. They got the good coating on it. They also have little rubber protectors for where it's going to clamp onto the rails of your hardtop, so that's a nice touch. And then they put a little rubber protector on the top of the threads too. So that'll be nice as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to flip the rack over. We're going to follow the instructions. They've got detailed instructions here from Smittybilt. We're going to get the brackets on, and then once those are all snugged up, we'll test fit it on the Jeep. Alright, so they want you to go ahead and start assembling these brackets, and then we're going to mount these loosely onto the rack, and then we'll kind of line up our placement. So you're going to want to do a washer, bolt, another washer, lock washer, and a nut. And then they want this in the highest setting, so what we're going to have to do is bring these all the way up in the slots and then tighten it up for you. So let me go ahead and we'll grab some tools and we'll do that real quick, and we'll assemble the other 4, and then we'll show you how those look on the rack for you. Alright, so these are going to be 13 millimeters, so I got an open or a closed end wrench, and then we got a socket, and we'll just tighten these guys up. We'll get all 4 put together, and then we'll throw them on the rack there. So now that all 4 of those brackets are done, and I've got these all nice and tight, the lock washers, we're going to go ahead and we'll set them and we'll get them loosely fitted on the rack. Alright, so on these front ones, it calls for them to go on the outermost slot. So you got 5 slots here, and I'm assuming these are for different applications. So we're going to go on the outermost for these ones. We're going to go ahead and use the same hardware, washer, lock nut, and we'll get it snugged up, but not too tight. They want it fairly loose for this so we can adjust. So we'll go ahead and we'll get the front 2 on, and then we'll move to the back. Alright, so I'm just going to do these guys kind of snug by hand so we still have some wiggle room. They don't want them too tight, so you can adjust a little bit once you get it up onto the top there. So let's go ahead and we'll move to the back and we'll see how those go. Alright, so now their instructions call for this rear one to be bounded in the number 2 and number 3 slot. So they start, this is number 1, this is 2, and then so forth. So on the front you're on 1 and 2. On the back, you're going to be on 2 and 3. So let's go ahead and we'll throw these brackets on, and then we'll get it up on the Jeep and test fit it. Alright, so now that we got all these brackets on, we got it kind of snug but not too tight on the where it attaches to the basket. These are stoned down nice and tight. We got them all the way up so we can get the most height underneath the Jeep. What we're going to do is we're going to throw this up on the Jeep, and then we got to fine tune where it's at, and then we can snug everything down. So let's go ahead and do that now. Alright, so now that you get it up here, you want to be real careful. That's why we left these loose. You can slide this in and out to kind of adjust with your rail. On the other side, it was a little close, so it ended up scratching up the top a little bit. No big deal, but you want to leave those loose still. So now the next step is you're going to attach this piece. Make sure you got your little paint protector there. You'll screw off this thread protector. And what this does is kind of clamps it down to the actual rail here. So you line it up there, bring it up, and it's going to be the same as the rest of the hardware. You're going to do washer, lock washer, and then this is going to be a 16mm nut. And you want to just get this real loosely snug there so it's not going anywhere. We'll go ahead and do this other side. And then what they want you to do is, once this is all set up where you want it, tighten these guys down, and then come back and tighten these guys down, the 13mm, and then you should be all set. Alright, so now that we spent some time getting this nice and square, I'm going to go ahead and tighten these guys up, and then we'll go around and tighten up the 13 millimeters to the basket. And then the instructions call to go ahead and trim these down to go ahead and put over the rest of the threads here, just so you're not catching on those. But after that, it should be all done. We'll pull her out and we'll get some footage for you and see how it looks on the Jeep. Alright, so then like I said, they come with these little protectors for the threads here. They're obviously too big now, so what you'll do is you'll go ahead and cut them down to the size you want, and then you can throw them on here so you're not catching your arm when you're loading up cargo. But it's all tightened up, looks good, we got it square. We do have some nice light tabs here, so if you did want to add lights, eventually you can add them there. And then I'm going to plan on adding the high lift jack mount, and then a shovel and axe mount, and then I might do some Rotopax, that kind of thing. So let's go ahead, we'll button her up, and then we'll show you what it looks like. That looks good. Alright guys, that's going to wrap it up for my Smittybilt Defender roof rack. Pretty happy with how it turned out. There are a few things I need to note. You do want to be very careful when you go ahead and you lift it up on, when you got your helper helping you. It did scrape up the top a little bit. If you want to come look, this is where it scratched up a little bit. And then we are going to have to touch up some of these rivets. They are exposed. We'll have to paint those. And there was just a little scratch right there. We'll have to go ahead and tape that up. But overall, it looks pretty good. Clears the garage door. And then these doors clear when you open them. That was one of the concerns I had. But it looks pretty good. Got plenty of room up top there. Yeah, so overall, I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. We just got the few things we got to touch up. Should be good. They do recommend you go back and re-torque down all your nuts once you've driven it for a little while, just to make sure they're still tight. You do want to be careful tightening these guys up. This is just fiberglass, so you don't want to crank them down too hard and break your fiberglass. But I like it so far. Looking forward to using it. If you guys go ahead and like and subscribe, we've got some cool trips coming up. We also have some more upgrades we're doing to the Jeep. And then go ahead and check out my Amazon store where I'll have this and then other stuff that I've got on the Jeep as well. You can go ahead and check that out. Thanks guys. Happy trails.